Much like Avengers, we made $250 million this weekend. This is Corey, and this is the O The Anthem podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. It is 8:26 p.m. Pacific. That makes it 11:26 p.m. Eastern, and O The Anthem is live from coast to coast, broadcasting from the beautiful #OTALA studios in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us with episode 212 of the podcast.
Yes, thank you for everything. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for rating on iTunes. If you do that sort of thing, it is very much appreciated by the two of us.
Absolutely.
And all the people who will find this podcast in the future.
And, of course, you can find us on all your social networks at O The Anthem on Facebook, at O The Anthem on Twitter and Instagram, O The Anthem on Google+, if you do that. And, of course, you can reach the podcast at the listener line. It's 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
It's 443-219-7595. And you can leave a text message there. You can call us. You could leave a voicemail either during the show or after. And, of course, if you're listening to us live on Facebook, which you absolutely should, we broadcast this and every episode live on Facebook. You can chat with us during the show. We'll take your comments and questions as we go along. Otherwise, you can get in touch with us during the week, and we'll bring those up on the next episode.
Absolutely.
Next episode, of course, coming up this Saturday. Make sure you join us this Saturday for another, this time actually annual celebration. This will be the 5th annual?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, dear God. The 5th annual.
How we managed to survive so long.
I know. Corey is now 0 for 4 on dying from alcohol poisoning.
That's not true. I've won.
No, I said 0 for 4 on dying of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, I haven't done that yet.
I haven't done almost. Close.
We've come very close to the line a couple times, but not yet. So,
of course, we're talking about Drinko de Mayo.
Yes, for those who are new to this, every single year on Cinco de Mayo, we like to celebrate by having our Drinko de Mayo episode, which is we have a bunch of magic words. Like, for instance, Trump was one last year. I'm sure it'll be included this year as well.
God, I thought we were going to avoid it.
But basically, if I said Trump in the middle of the show, then we would have to drink a shot of tequila.
Yes.
I would have to drink a shot of tequila.
Yes.
The person who makes the mistake has to do the drink.
Yep.
And usually drink, drank, and drunk are part of the standard words. But we need words for like what we are going to talk about this coming episode and what we can't say. So make sure you send us messages on the listener line, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you feel you need to send us a message.
Yeah. What are
tell
words
us
that
what
we're going to be saying that we would likely say so that we put them on the do not say list so that we get penalized whenever we do say them. So, like I said, I think the first year it was, Drink, Drank, and Drunk are standards, but Stephanie Rawlings-Blake was one. Donald Sterling was one when that was in the news.
Yeah.
Every year, it's just whatever's in the news that year, things that we're probably going to talk about, but we shouldn't say a particular word. So,
and if it's just something you want us to talk about, like say you want us to talk about 3 Californias, like the proposal to split California into 3 separate states.
Yes.
Then just make California one of the words, and we'll talk about California.
Without saying the word California.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right. And that would have been 5 or 6 drinks right there. In a couple of
thank
sentences.
God. Thank God it's not next week's episode.
Yeah. So make sure you join us on Saturday. Stay tuned on all your social networks. Again, you can find us at O The Anthem on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll be sending out messages. You can follow Corey at LegendCB5 and me at Robert N. Cheek on your social networks, especially on Snapchat. We'll keep you updated on Friday and Saturday as we have a lead in to the big episode on Saturday. And you'll be able to come and watch us do that live. And the new episode will be up on Tuesday as per usual if you prefer to listen, if that's your format. Although I have to say, if there's one of the year that you want to watch on Facebook or on YouTube, that's the one you want to watch.
Absolutely. That's the most entertaining to actually physically see.
Yes.
So
a lot of visual gags going on in that episode.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a busy week for us. We have a lot going on this week, Corey.
We do indeed. And should we just start with sports ball? Just
I think
knock
we
it
should.
out.
Well, and if we're going to talk about sports ball, you know what that means.
Intro time.
Yeah.
Sports ball.
All right. So a lot going on in the world of sports ball this week.
Where should we start?
All right, let's end with what impacts our week this week. Let's start with the thing that's furthest away from everyone's mind: the Ravens, football.
Well, I don't know if it's furthest away. The draft just happened,
Yeah,
and
but
everyone
the
can't stop
season-
talking about it.
The season is very
the season's far away.
Yes.
The Ravens participated in the NFL draft this year, as they do most every year. I think they haven't missed one yet. If I'm correct.
Ozzy's got 22 straight years of that. I
Yeah.
think.
So good for him.
Yeah.
His last one, too.
Right? Yep.
And the news out of the draft, really, was the Ravens' pick of Lamar Jackson with the last pick in the first round.
Well, are you just going to skip Hurst?
No.
He was our first round draft pick.
Yeah, but he was he wasn't the story of the draft was Lamar Jackson's fall.
I just hate that we skip over the guy who put in the work.
I wasn't skipping over him. I'm just saying
He's the 23rd.
the number one story of the draft was one of our picks.
Yes.
It didn't happen to be our first pick. It could have been our first pick, but we were able to move back and get him later, So,
the story of the draft, if that's what Corey wants to talk about, is that the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner was still available leading into the last 3 or 4 draft picks. Mm-hmm. The Ravens let him go by with the 23rd selection, I think is what they had.
Well, we originally had the 16th.
Yeah, right.
And Ozzy
Trading
kept trading back.
Yes.
So,
and weirdly trading back in a way that a lot of commentators were thinking, are they looking to see if Jackson's going to be available? Are they just playing the cards to see, is he still available late? Can we get something for this trade? We're going to trade down and get something in return.
Right.
And then see if he's still available late. And I think they traded back twice, right? Wasn't it like 16th to...
It was like 16 to 19 and then 19 to 20. Yeah.
Whatever that was. And both times traded back. And then the selection came up and the pick was in and we went with a tight end. Which I will say, probably something that needs to be filled. Position that needs to be filled.
Ben Watson isn't going to be on the team anymore, so...
Yeah. One of those things, I did love watching the coverage on NFL Network where they're like, this is what they've lost this year. And here is what's available right now, the best of what's available versus what they lost and like what they might be trying to fit in. And the commentators were saying, they're talking maybe Lamar Jackson, but there's this kid out of South Carolina who might fill this gap that they have at the tight end position. And God knows they have a quarterback who doesn't like to throw it more than 5 yards. So we really need to have a tight end in that position. And
really need somebody who can go over the middle.
Yeah, and likes to take a lot of hits. Todd Heap, if he's any kind of friend right now, is calling him and being like, bro, life insurance. It's your best bet right now. You need some long-term, some short-term disability. Get yourself set because they're going to be sending you across the middle.
Yeah.
And Joe doesn't know how to hit the broad side of a barn. So you're just not going to be making catches. You're just going to be taking hits all day. But luckily, that pick got out of the way. And we moved down. And so we thought maybe the first round was over. Like, okay, let's relax. But then the news came in. The Philadelphia Eagles with the last pick in the first round.
As the Super Bowl winners. Yeah.
As the Super Bowl winners do, have the last pick. Wow, it's been a long time since we had the last pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Anyway, they, Ozzy and his infinite wisdom.
It could be worse. We could be Browns fans.
True. Get the first pick every single year.
Throw it away on Baker Mayfield.
Oh, you think that's really throwing it away?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got nobody to throw to.
Granted, I don't watch college football at all.
Yeah.
I'm just judging it off of the the opinions of others and my view of him from footage that I see.
Okay.
But it seems like he was the third best quarterback of the three.
Wasn't he the Heisman Trophy winner?
Yes, but he's undersized, which is my number one fear. Like everyone keeps saying, like Drew Brees is. I was going to say
Drew Brees
is 6 foot tall.
Yeah,
Drew Brees is not the one that you want to be like. There's 2 quarterbacks who are like under like 6'2" who've ever been successful.
Russell Wilson,
Drew Brees over 6'2".
Oh, is he?
I think so.
No, look that up.
I'll look it up.
Who was the one you were thinking of? Drew Brees.
Doug
by the
Flutie.
way, who?
Doug Flutie.
And he was marginally successful.
Yeah,
but Drew Brees is successful. He has to get on his tiptoes to see over his own lineman, and he's got an arm that can just launch the ball 70 yards. That's how you get successful. You get fast receivers. You launch the ball downfield.
You know what? And you are correct. I'm sorry. 5'11" for Russell Wilson.
Thank you. I am taller than Russell Wilson. One of the funniest parts of the Joel McHale show is when, I think in episode 2, they do the commercial with Russell Wilson.
Oh, that's right.
And you see him standing next to him, and you're like, God damn, Russell Wilson's short. The woman from The Office is about the same height as Russell Wilson.
So, but also Joel McHale is freakishly tall.
Yes, he is freakishly tall as well. But nonetheless, you think that Baker Mayfield is not a good choice at number 1 draft pick?
No, I would probably have gone with another quarterback there.
Is it gonna get worse? Is it gonna get worse in Cleveland?
Maybe that's what they're trying to go for. Maybe Maybe they're like, we like everyone talking about us at the first pick. Maybe we'll just take Baker Mayfield and see what happens.
Listen, we already
roll the
lost
dice
team.
on another first round.
We
pick.
had a shitty team leave once and get kind of good. Let's see if we can do it again. Let's get this team to be marginally terrible. We'll send them somewhere else where they can be good.
We're doing the 76ers method of we'll take good picks. They won't play. We'll just lose all the time. And then eventually we'll have Pro Bowlers at every single position.
And Vine is coming back. V2 is coming, so there will be an opportunity for many Browns fans to get very excited when their team almost wins a game and then rip their jerseys off as the kick gets blocked and returned for a touchdown.
God, I love that. I love that video so much.
Best video. I wish I'd done a little pre-work and I could have logged that up and just shown everybody what that video was, but didn't realize that was going to come up. Anyway, so with the
we
last
should
pick,
save it for when football season starts.
Yes,
Browns week, we'll play it a couple times throughout the course of sports ball.
What a great video. Just the sadness in that man's eyes. Just broken.
Yeah.
Just broken.
It's the best part is it's just like he's done with it.
I fucking hate this team.
I hate this team. The one person who screams in the back is like, I hate the Browns so goddamn much.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so back on our team. The Ravens traded in, and do you think they gave more for that pick to Philadelphia than they got from trading down from 19 to 23? I don't know. I don't think it was reported what they gave up or they got to trade down.
They gave up 2 second round picks,
and one of those they picked up.
But I mean, think about it this way: if you trade the 2 second round picks and you're getting an additional first round pick, then it's not so bad. And we got an extra
year.
3 picks throughout the course of the draft just by trading back a couple times.
True. And you get an extra year when you draft in the first round.
Right.
On the first contract.
Yeah.
So we get that extra year to let him sit on the bench, which is what, in your estimation, is going to be necessary for Jackson. He's not an NFL-ready quarterback.
No, I think it would be best served for him to learn underneath somebody for a little while.
Yeah. Not Joe Flacco, though. That's not going to... RG3 is in. I'm glad RG3 is in Baltimore to help teach him how to play football.
I think everyone's hate of Joe is a little strong. I admit that he has not been living up to expectations. Mm-hmm. He has not been living up to his salary for sure.
Definitely not that.
But I don't put it past him to have a really good season if things line up the right way.
Well, if history...
for the last 4 years, we've had an offensive line where people who used to move boxes for a living have had to come in and play left tackle. So I'm not
And if history shows anything, the year before his negotiating year, he shows the fuck up for some reason. So his contract can be optioned out not this coming season, but the season after.
This next offseason.
Yes, the next offseason.
Yeah.
So
maybe this year he'll play a $25 million quarterback
to justify his $25 million salary.
Save for another year.
Yeah, save himself. But I hope not, because I see the potential in. We just got to steal. It's not a Tom Brady, not Tom Brady type steal, not 166th
round
pick or whatever. But it is a steal that a Heisman Trophy winner fell to the last pick in the first round, and we got the opportunity to pick him.
I like the swagger too.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna get a Super Bowl out of me.
That's all good. What I like though is what happened before that. When the first thing the fucking commentator has to say is what would you have done different so that you didn't end up in Baltimore and you didn't drop to the last round? And he's like, no. I'm happy to be going to Baltimore. I'm gonna learn to play football in Baltimore. You're gonna get a Super Bowl out of me.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I am happy to be going. Everything worked out exactly how it should have worked out.
And I would much rather be in Lamar Jackson's shoes than Baker Mayfield's because
do you think part of him was saying that? At least it's not the Browns.
Well, I mean, not even just because of the Browns, but I'm just saying even if it was the Jets who had the number 1 pick, the Jets aren't a horribly offensive team like the Browns are. But you're still going to have to go in and be I can't even remember the quarterback who got drafted by the Browns or by the Jets. It was
this season?
Yeah.
This draft?
I can't remember his name. Shit. Anywho, he's still gonna be expected to lead the team right away.
Yeah.
Whereas Lamar gets to sit on the bench and sort of get better.
Third quarterback too. Dressed, but not even in. Joe gets hurt, gets a stinger, and he has to come out for a couple. He doesn't even have to go in then.
Right.
He's just in there in learning from everyone.
And I like that method. I really do. I think that Aaron Rodgers is the perfect sentiment for that.
Yeah.
I mean, like Rodgers sat on the bench for 2 years, I think, before he started playing. But they knew as soon as
he sat under Brett Favre,
Yeah.
not Joe Flacco.
But that's not just because Joe Flacco hasn't actually done it doesn't mean that he can't be a good role model for teaching it to others.
And I will say that I think that what I've seen of Lamar Jackson, he has the potential to be like RG3 if RG3 didn't blow his knee out at the end of his first season. So
if he didn't get knotted and good.
Yeah, if he didn't have the Washington Redskins offensive line in front of him. So there's this chance that if our line can put together some decent protection, he can learn from a guy who knows how to play the game that well. And theoretically, Joe does know how to stretch the field. We don't see it very often, but he's got flashes of doing that, which apparently is another problem. Like, it's reading defenses is kind of Lamar's problem, which Joe does really well. Overreading them sometimes and checking down too early is a problem, but learn to read and learn how to run in the NFL. So we got two really good guys in front of him.
One last question for you on Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
Before I move on to my other favorite piece of Ravens draft news.
Yes.
Let's say it's the end of week 1. Mm-hmm. The game has just ended. Joe Flacco is thrown for 220 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions.
Okay.
And we lose the game by 3.
3 touchdowns or
3
3
points?
points?
3
Okay.
points.
Yeah.
How many calls go by before somebody says that we need to bench Joe Flacco and start Lamar Jackson on the postgame show?
0. The very first call, unless they are screening out, unless the guy's like the call screener's just like it's every call.
It's all
It's
Lamar
every
Jackson.
call. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. No, the sports junkies on Monday morning is going to be Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Lamar Jackson. It wouldn't be a sports junkies because they're in DC now. Yes, but
if Joe
Baltimore.
Flacco in week 1 throws for 350 yards and 5 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yes.
Is how many calls before somebody says Lamar Jackson would have done better?
Do we win?
Yes.
See, that's the thing. It's the winning forgives everything.
See, I don't think so, because there were times where Joe had like really great games, and then 4 or 5 calls in, somebody would just be like, Tyrod would have done better. If we would have started Tyrod, he would have thrown 7 touchdowns.
See, I mean, Baltimore, you're a finicky bitch. But I mean, I don't think it would. I think that we have gotten used to Joe either looks good or he doesn't look good.
Yeah.
And if he looks good, everyone's very happy.
He's Ubaldoing.
Yeah. But the first week that he doesn't look good, that's the thing. If week 1 he looks great, you might not get that call.
Right.
But if week 1 he looks terrible, those calls will never stop.
Right.
Like, yeah, he looked good in week 2, but remember week 1? Oh, yeah, he looked good in week 11.
He's played great for the last 7 games, but remember week 1 when he was terrible?
Yeah, come on, let's put in Jackson already. Come on, what are we doing? I mean, yeah, that's the inevitability of it. He has to perform. And the question I asked you at the beginning, during the draft, is there a quarterback controversy? Is there a chance that RG3 wins the starting job from Joe Flacco?
No.
Not at all? You don't think that he's learned something in his last hopping around the NFL?
No, I think that RG3 is a more than capable backup. I don't think RG3 would have to be RG3 during his rookie year.
Yeah.
To even come close to making it a quarterback controversy.
How about this? In the first 2 pre-games, he doesn't check down every 3rd down for a 5-yard throw when we need 15.
Again, preseason is the worst time to judge these people because RG3, when he comes in, is going up against everyone's backups.
Yeah.
Whereas Joe is playing against everyone's starters.
True.
So
unless they start RG3 one game.
RG3 should look better than Joe if everything else is equal. Even if they are playing to the same level.
But
he's going to look better because he's playing against worse competition. Then when Lamar Jackson comes in and he's playing against the furniture
stringers.
movers.
Yeah. Everybody who's not going to be there when the game starts.
Like, people who have peg legs and parrots on shoulders and stuff like that.
When we're playing the Redskins in the, I guess now 4th week of preseason.
What are they called? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what they're called.
Because this season they're having 5 preseason games.
No.
There's a scrimmage and then 4 games.
Well, they do that.
Okay, so let's say that when we play the Redskins in week 3, the fourth of all of the games, and
Yeah,
the
but
third actual game.
the scrimmage is not a game. It's just an open practice.
Okay, well, but it's part of the season ticket plan. If you have a season ticket, that's how I'm looking at it. So, nonetheless, if during that Redskin game, by the third preseason game, you're leaving your starters in longer. If RG3 is in there at the end of the second quarter or the end of the first quarter, and he's still playing against the first string defense, and he's looking good, and Joe just looks like hot garbage all the way through the preseason. There's no chance that causes a quarterback controversy.
It would have to be clear to literally everybody that that's how obvious it would have to be.
Okay.
Like it would have to be like the type of thing like Rachel, who watches all the games but doesn't really wouldn't be able to be a good scout of who's a better player per se.
No.
Would have to at the end of this without any prompting just go RG3 looked way better than Joe Flacco, right? Yeah. I'm not the only one who saw that. Then yeah, that would be the time where you would need to
Rachel, who picks her fantasy football team based on the attractiveness of the players, who says, RG3, not attracted to him, but he definitely outplayed Joe this time, right? Wow, that's quite astute of you. Yeah, maybe it should be a problem. All right, so moving on to the other.
Sorry, one last thing.
Okay,
real quick. I just want to give a big shout out to Orlando Brown Jr., who got drafted by the Ravens as well.
Yes.
Baby Zeus. We got Baby Zeus. So Orlando Brown Sr., may he rest in peace, was one of the Ravens' early offensive linemen. Mm-hmm. And
he was a draft pick, right?
Yeah.
He didn't come from, draft pick.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see his son in uniform. Apparently, much like his father, he doesn't have much real good football sense. He's just a really big guy who's hard to get around.
Sometimes that's all it takes.
That's all it takes sometimes when you're an offensive lineman.
Yep.
So good for him. Hope he does well. Bully.
I guess we'll see. All right, so moving on to the other team that you love to hate.
I always love when we get rid of Rob's face. And
because I have absolutely nothing to say about this. So go ahead.
All right, I'm just going to make this quick. I'm just going to run through it. Yes, we won a game. Yes, it looked nice doing so, but I'm still worried. I'm still very concerned. And thank God for Braden Holtby, who saved that one goal, or the officials for missing it. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Either way, good on Wilson for not getting suspended after the hit to the head. And yeah, I mean, I'm pessimistically optimistic at the moment. I know for a fact it's not going to end well, but I'm really hoping it does. And that's basically what being a Caps fan is like in a nutshell.
Which is why you should rush out and get this t-shirt. Win a cup or kill me already.
Yes. Available at otheanthem.com.
Absolutely.
Or where other fine O The Anthem related things are sold, which is otheanthem.com.
So game 3 is tomorrow night.
And obviously with the $250 million weekend we had, many win a cup or kill me already t-shirts were purchased.
Clearly, yes. So game 3 is Tuesday night. Tomorrow night as we're recording this, yeah?
I believe so.
Right. So it could all be over theoretically by the weekend, or we may not know until next Sunday.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see.
Yay. Any other things about the Caps? I mean,
no, that'll do it for now. I don't want to make it too much. But the most pressing thing,
yes,
is that tomorrow, Wednesday and Thursday, the Orioles will be on our side of the globe or our side of the coast.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, they never leave our side of the globe.
Yeah.
But yes, our side of the country.
Yeah.
Our coast. The westward swing is coming. Strangely, like the only westward swing in this area all season long.
Yeah.
But, c'est la vie. So I think, are you going down to see all 3 games in Anaheim, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would very much like to.
Yes. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Corey will be in...
Tuesday, Wednesday,
Thursday.
Yeah.
Corey will be in Anaheim. I'm going to try to find time to go down there one of those days. But it's not exactly...
great.
Yeah. What can you say about the Orioles right now?
Well, I was looking it up earlier just because I felt the need to. And we are the second worst team in the American League. And as of right now, for the division, if you will,
yes,
we are 18 and a half games back.
Whew.
But to be fair, the Red Sox have been on quite a tear to start the season.
The Yankees have won 9 in a row now.
Yeah, they're starting to peg it up.
Yeah.
But like I have maintained before, the American League is not very good this year. It's very, very top heavy and very bottom heavy.
Right.
So if the Orioles, they're 8.5 out on the wild card right now, with 5 months left to play.
Right.
So that's not completely unbelievable. And I'm saying other teams that we expected to be good going into the season are not good, like the Minnesota Twins, for instance.
Yeah.
So there's room for us to make a move and make this more competitive. I know that it feels like everything is over right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like go out and sell all our prospects for people to make this better, but I'm saying let's let the team just do what it does. And if somebody comes by with an offer to blow us away from Machado,
yes,
we'll just trade him away. We'll take your prospects. We'll be fine with it. It's probably a lost season anyway. But there's no reason that we can't go out there and compete every night and turn this thing around. And we're 15-5 stretch away from completely turning the season around. So
I feel like these are all things that we said between 1998 and 2012.
No.
Where we're just like, listen, it's early. It's only July. We got plenty of time to turn this season around. This could be it. Dave Tremblay knows what he's doing, all right?
He's a baseball guy. He's a baseball guy.
He's playing 162 games, all right? Yeah, no, it just has the feeling of a lost season already, and we're not that far into it. And when the huge nut at the end of the season is we're losing Manny one way or another, I got to start saying, hey, why aren't we shopping him?
And I'm sure they are. I'm just the best time to sell Manny at this point, at least in my opinion, is right before the trade deadline.
Right.
And if somebody wants to give away higher prices now so they have him for longer, great. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But the problem is nobody's feeling the pressure yet. When you get closer to the trade deadline, you say like, oh, God, we're 4.5 out, and we can make a run if we had a superstar.
How about the Dodgers losing their shortstop to Tommy John surgery today?
Oh, I didn't hear about that. Corey Seager's out?
Yes.
Oh.
Out for the season and possibly the start of next. They're saying 12 to 18 months with Tommy John.
That's not good.
And so you have a team with deep pockets looking for a shortstop. And you know what? I'd sure as hell prefer him on the Dodgers than, I don't know, the Red Sox or the Yankees. Who are other teams with deep pockets?
How about this? Just throwing it out there. Machado for Kershaw. I'm just saying.
Hey, look.
It looks like he's on the downside of his career. Let's just pick up your scraps and we'll give you Machado and you can enjoy him for the rest of the season.
We get to see Manny a little more often.
I like to imagine Dan Duquette starts with that, like the Dodger GM calls, and it's just like,
listen,
hey, so we were just curious about what it would take to get Machado from you. I don't know if you heard, but we had a little injury that impacts our ability to get back to the World Series, and just wanted to know what the price was for Machado. Kershaw. That's funny, Dan. You're known for your legendary sense of humor. What's the real price? Kershaw. All right, we'll see you later.
But I mean, the question is, are there
right, fine. Jock Peterson. Click.
Are there any World Series caliber shortstops that are available out there that aren't on teams that may be going to the World Series already?
I mean, there's not. I don't feel like shortstop is really all that deep, and I would imagine that most teams would be trading him to move him back to third base.
You think?
I mean, he hasn't really been lighting it up as a shortstop. I would like to remind people that it takes a while to learn how to play a new position at the major league level, and even when you're as good as Manny, I think Cal Ripken said, like, for the first 50 games or something like that, he wasn't himself.
Yeah.
Like, he just didn't feel like he knew exactly what he was doing. And then as soon as he got past, like, the 50-game mark, it started becoming a little bit.
Those last 2,600, they were a breeze, though.
They're a little tough. The
first 50 were rough. The last 2,600.
I think A-Rod said a similar thing, moving from short to third, where he was just like, it took about 50 games for me to really get my sea legs under me.
But, I mean, I think in the end, though, you're not only getting at the shortstop position, you're getting a bat in the lineup, and if you are the Dodgers, and
he's leading the American League in home runs, or right there in the I don't know what our
today
current I don't know where we are at the moment,
but you're looking at your Dodgers, you're looking at your competition with the Giants, you're looking at the possible World Series, like who are you going to be facing on the other side? It's a tough outing against the top teams.
I mean, if I were a Dodger fan, I would like to have Manny Machado. That's just my thing.
Hey, I live in LA. I would go to more Dodger games if I got to see Manny Machado play.
Listen, a big part of why I'm going for the next 3 nights to see baseball is because of Machado.
Yeah.
If you brought him closer to my home, then I'm sure I would see more.
Literally as close as possible to my home. That would be fantastic. Now, I would suck if they did get rid of Kershaw. I mean, I don't think that Kershaw's even on the table.
No,
you said he's on the tail end.
I was kidding about
the tail end of his career, meaning the last 9 years that he has left to pitch.
That was completely a joke. I hope nobody listened to me going like, Corey thought Kershaw for Machado. That's stupid.
But I mean, I think that the LA has a good enough farm team or farm system that they could produce. They could put together something, cash considerations, and a couple of prospects to put it together.
Yeah, I just want prospects. I don't want your cash.
We're gonna rebuild.
I just want your young, profitable players.
Hey, how about this? We'll take 4 of your best prospects. We'll give you Manny, and to sweeten the deal, we're going to throw in Chris Davis if you take the rest of his fucking contract, because we don't want that anymore.
Do you like Eric Bedard? We got Eric Bedard.
We'll throw in Eric Bedard for nothing. Is Sherrill still available? Let's get him back. Where is he?
Anywho.
Yeah. But I'm excited to see at least one game while the team's here. I know that you're going to go down and see more than that. So it'll be nice to see the Orioles. I just wish it was like the season where they started out 11 straight wins. And the things were more exciting. You take for granted when your team's doing well and you live close and you can see them. Now, like 3 games, yes. And you're like, there is a high likelihood that they're going to lose all 3 games.
Well, probably, but maybe. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
I really hope that if you go Tuesday, that they lose that game, because it raises the probability, at least in my mind, that
Wednesday or Thursday they'll win.
Yes, yeah. So we'll see.
Especially if they lose the first 2. Then on Thursday, you're like, they're due.
They're due. But wait, isn't Shotani pitching on Thursday?
We don't know who's pitching on Thursday.
Okay.
Yet. It's all a big surprise. But we should probably buy those tickets before we find out.
Yes, that's probably a good idea.
Because if it's Shohei, then it's just all of a sudden going to through the roof. And
I would love to see him, but we can see him anytime. We can see him when somebody else comes into town. So anyway, moving on to the news of the week.
Yes.
The story this weekend has all been about Saturday night. The White House Correspondents Dinner, otherwise known as Nerd Prom. I don't know why people started calling it Nerd Prom. Because at my prom, we certainly didn't make fun of the principal, which is basically what White House Correspondents' Dinner is. But was Michelle Wolf the host, or was she just like the speaker?
I don't remember exactly how the Correspondents' Dinner does it. I think she's basically just like the headline act essentially. Yeah. But there's like a more legitimate host who like guides us through.
Right. Yeah. So Michelle Wolf was hosting. And from what I saw, I didn't watch it live because I don't really care about it that much. But we did see some highlights. I thought she did an amazing job.
Yeah.
She was funny and she was light, and not all the jokes hit, but I think that she was kind of irreverent to anyone, even the people sitting in the room there in front of her. There was one joke about how basically the people in this room created him. So good job. Yeah, you're getting exactly what you wanted.
I would like to say this, that usually when they find a comedian for the White House Correspondents' Dinner, they usually find somebody who's more, what's the word?
Male? White?
I mean, you're looking for somebody who sort of gets the room a little bit better. So, like, you might have like a Stephen Colbert type, where it's like his comedy is late night network television. So he's never going to go too far. He's never gonna like do the same bits that Michelle Wolf did. Michelle Wolf is a legitimate stand-up who who is gonna. This is what you get when you hire a stand-up to do this job.
Yeah, and Colbert is a stand-up, but he has since done a theoretical political talk show and then a late night show.
Right.
This is who he is.
Yeah.
So,
but here's my basic take. Nothing she said was untrue.
Nope.
She made fun of everybody equally. And I would say that the tact did not work on the room. Like a lot of any comedy is trying to figure out what the room is going to laugh at, and they did not find it as funny as other people did.
Yeah, as I did. I found it all humorous.
But I don't really care about the people in the room, whether or not they find it funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's my, like, I love the what was the one with Anderson Cooper and Mike Pence being like Anderson Cooper, not gay or something like that.
Yeah, basically.
You saw Don Lemon like dying at the table.
But some of the people in the room were just like, I don't think that's appropriate. That's not what we should talk about. They're not exactly the same at all. But Don Lemon literally almost fell out of his chair.
Yeah.
The camera just basically had to keep it on him for a while.
Yeah.
While everyone else simmered in their this is not funny nonsense.
Now, the big argument, it seems, about her bit at this event was did you find that she made fun of Sarah Huckabee Sanders' appearance?
No. In fact, as I think she defended herself well, she complimented Sarah Huckabee Sanders' appearance.
Yeah.
She said she did an excellent job. What she said was she turned all of the lies that she has to produce into mascara for which she does her amazing smoky eyes.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was making fun of her appearance at all. And guess what, guys? There's a lot you could make fun of with her appearance.
Yeah.
It's been why the scowl is like our cartoon president basically is just she has one look. It's just the scowl that is on her face all the time in the cartoon, which is not how she always looks. But the scowl is pretty famous. But no, you're not making fun of her appearance. She used her appearance as a setup to a joke, or as I guess a punchline to the joke. But not that she looks a certain way, just that basically the tears of all of the or the results of all the lies turned into a smoky eye.
I think all the people who are complaining are out of touch.
Yes.
I mean, especially some of them were hysterically like there was one tweet that was going around. I saw it all over the place where somebody was just like, I was so offended, me and my wife left. And it's just like, oh, the lobbyist from, well, let's check it here. Oh, Coke. The Coke Industries decided to leave early because they were...
Was it Koch brothers or Coca-Cola?
Koch brothers.
Oh, Koch brothers.
Yeah, the
right,
Coke
yes.
industry.
The Koch brothers.
Yes. Lobbyist was so offended that they decided to leave.
Yeah.
Oh, boo-hoo.
And, by the way, the Washington Times... No, was it the Post? I think it was actually the Times. I don't think it was the Post. But one of the Washington newspapers said it was inappropriate.
Well, to be fair, one of them is a legitimate paper and one of them is just a rag at which people write at.
Right. So I don't know which one it was, but I lean towards the Times. Said that it was inappropriate that in a room of mixed company, she would use the P word multiple times. And I read that in a tweet and I was like, what P word did she use multiple times? Oh, she made fun of someone grabbing a woman by the pussy. And I'm like, oh, you mean the thing that the president said? Yeah. That thing? That thing that the president of the United States said and then defended saying on multiple occasions.
Yeah.
But that P thing, she wasn't supposed to say. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
I think the rules get thrown out once your president starts saying grab him by the pussy.
Yeah.
That's just basically my...
Half of the things she was saying were basically attributable to Trump, and she was just turning them around
right
on the room, which I think is like, it's open season. And the fact that the White House Correspondents Association apologized for her being there, at what point are you guys just going to get up off your knees and start acting like journalists again? And stop pretending.
I mean, basically the entire set was Trump and all his people lie all the time.
Truth.
They're completely incompetent.
Truth.
The media is responsible in large part for how we treat Trump.
Truth.
And the Democrats, despite having overwhelming support by people, also have no support because they don't do anything.
Truth.
So I mean, that's basically what we talk about almost every single week on this podcast. One of those 5 things is the discussion point.
As Black Twitter pointed out, where's the lie?
Yeah.
Where is the lie?
I love Black Twitter.
So what's that?
I love Black Twitter.
Yes, Black Twitter is the best. Yeah. And that's the thing is I think everyone who is politically active in the country but not part of the politics of the country was basically like, yeah, no, she just called out everybody's bullshit, and there was a general response of like, well, I didn't like this and I didn't like that. So
I completely agree. I mean, like. Here's the thing I really want people to think about, and be honest with yourself. Is there one politician anywhere that you are so crazy about that you are going to like you would vote for them for anything?
Justin Trudeau.
Well, I mean, American. Somebody who's currently in the American political system.
I was going to say Emmanuel Macron too, but
Emmanuel Macron.
Macron, yes.
Yeah.
But he's
Macron.
Macron. Yeah, I would vote for a French guy over any American politician right now. That's not
Macron or Ted Cruz. Pick right now.
Macron all day.
But I'm saying, like, even the politicians who like have fervent support also have people who like their fervent support ends at a certain point and then drops off precipitously.
Yeah.
Like people who like Bernie Sanders a lot. But then as soon as you get past the 20% of people who were really crazy about Bernie Sanders, the support level drops a lot.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there's nobody. It's not like John F. Kennedy's sitting in the audience somewhere going like, what did I do? Like,
right. Yeah.
I'm trying to make things better. Like,
and to be fair, by the way, the president
Lincoln or something like that. Like
the president had the opportunity to retort.
Yeah.
But he was not there.
Right.
He was off in Michigan admitting to collusion with the Russians during the election.
Which is basically just proving everything that Trump is dumb and lies. Like I don't know what.
But on that for a moment, on the Michigan rally.
Yeah.
Mr. Mueller, what do we need? He got up on a stage in front of 10,000 people and was like, yeah, we colluded. What, are you going to cry about it? You want to fight about it? What you want to do?
Yeah, I know that some of my people met with somebody who was tightly linked with Putin.
And I know that Putin sent that guy there because he thought he could influence my campaign.
To try and influence us.
Yeah.
I don't see what the point is. I don't get what the problem is.
I just, can we do something about this? Just, this is... so again,
you know what part of the problem is though? I think that the news swirls so fucking fast.
Yeah.
That it's tough to like, and there's so many things that are reported but not necessarily backed up by like independent journalism and stuff like that. Like I talked last week about watching Taffer and Comey.
No, I don't remember anything from last week. By the way, thank you guys for checking out the podcast last week. Sorry about the podcast last week. I don't really remember much of what we talked about. So go ahead. Yeah. What were we talking about?
Well, if you did listen, I talked about the Taffer Comey interview that happened on The Lead last week.
Oh, yes. Yeah. No, I don't remember that. But okay.
And at one point, Taffer was basically asking him if he thought that Trump colluded or that Trump obstructed justice. Mm-hmm. And he initially said the question, and then Comey just sort of like rebuffed. He's like, I don't know. I'm not really supposed to decide whether or not somebody did that. Yeah. He's like, well, let's lay out the facts that we know for sure, like 100% know for sure. And then he laid out like 20 things, like all in a timeline that I feel like we need to do that more often.
Yeah.
Like we're just spinning our wheels on like these new developments and like, oh, there's a report that somebody met with somebody, or there's a report that there was an email that maybe was sent.
It's bumper cars. You're just getting banged around so much that you're still moving in a circle, but you don't feel it because you're getting banged around so much.
But if I sat here for 2 minutes and said, here's all the things that we can verify and know happened, and just lay out the evidence and then say, all right, so this new thing about how Trump went up on stage and said, yeah, I know that person was linked with Putin. That's why we met with them. They're trying to influence me. Didn't happen. I'm too big and strong for that.
Yeah.
I would say, so is this a bigger deal to you now? Now that fresh in your mind is all the things we already know. And
here's the new thing on top of that.
And probably half the things you don't even know that we know if you're watching Fox News. Just as a thing, just pointing out one possible news source that you could be watching with regularity where you don't get all the information. And I'm not trying to believe me, just because I mentioned watching CNN doesn't mean I'm backing them up as like the true unadulterated source for news, because they're full of bullshit as well.
Yes.
And I think part of the thing that Michelle Wolf was bringing up during the White House Correspondents Dinner is they're all fucking full of bullshit. Yeah. There's nobody who's doing it like 100% right. And you can't do it 100% right. It's a mixture of finding the right sources at the right time to be able to get the clearest sense of the picture. And sometimes the New York Times has the story. Sometimes the Washington Post has the story. Sometimes it's someplace that you don't necessarily expect. Like the Seattle Post-Intelligencer might have a story.
Black Twitter always has the best story. I'm just telling you, they always have the truth. You can always find the truth on Black
Just
Twitter.
go to Black Twitter. It's fine.
But
Your number one source of news, Black Twitter.
This reminds me that I know I talked about it more last year than I did now, but the guy who does the Revolutions podcast did one about Rome and the 3rd century AD in Rome. Basically, the lesson from there is that everyone could see the Republic collapsing and, well, the empire collapsing.
Yeah.
And the rich people, the people who could actually do something about it, were benefiting so much from the continuation of the empire that they were like, well, let's just see if we can get this one more year. And we'll deal with it when it starts to get really bad. And then the people who weren't benefiting from it were in no position to actually challenge anything. So eventually it just crumbled down to nothing.
Yeah.
And that's where we are now. Like the Koch brothers are like, listen, the ship's going down, but if we can just eke out like another couple of years, I'm going to make another $3 or $4 billion, $100 billion, and then I'll be set.
Yeah.
It's going to match the $500 million that I made, whatever. They're just going to make tons of money, and that's all that they're really worried about.
Right.
And they're the only ones who could do anything about it. And the only changes they're making are directing us, to mix metaphors, into the iceberg further.
Yeah.
That's really all they want to do. So
Right.
just keep that in mind. And go on Twitter, because that's where you're going to find real news. That's really my message for today. Well, okay, so one more. We're at 50 minutes, so we talked a little bit more about sports than I thought we were going to. But one more topic.
There was 3 different things in the sports ball
true.
that we needed.
That was a long segment.
Yeah.
One more thing, and it's just little tiny thing that we should talk about this week, which is
it's a global story that probably didn't get much attention, so
Yeah.
we figured we shine a little light on it.
So the war in Korea is over. It took
What, like 6-7 years?
60 years.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
I mean, theoretically.
I mean, really, 65
68
years.
years.
Yeah.
Started in 1950.
Yeah.
So 68.
The U.S.
years.
involvement ended in 53, right?
55.
Okay.
But we pulled out. Well, we're still in South Korea.
Right. But I mean,
the
like,
armistice line was set in 63 or in 53.
Yeah.
And we pulled out in 55.
Okay.
And we just basically were like, here, you stand on the border. And actually, so the Koreans have been on the border. We've been just south of the border.
Yeah.
But yeah. So started in
At
1950.
the DMZ.
The DMZ.
The demilitarized zone.
Hey, look at you.
Yeah.
Nice.
I almost tripped over how to say demilitarized, but it's all right.
Yeah. So the North and the South have been at war since 1950. The war hostilities ended, but the war did not end. And in fact, on occasion over the last few years, they have thrown shells back across, like artillery shells back and forth across the border, or they fired at each other across the border. Most recently, we talked about how a North Korean soldier escaped. The North Koreans fired at him as he came across. The South Koreans fired back at them, just because you can't let them shoot at you without shooting back at them.
Right.
Because we train the South Koreans. So, of course, shooting at people is what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so for the first time in his time as leader, which would have been from 1997, I think is when Kim Jong-un took over officially.
I thought it was way later than that.
No, 97 is... No, that was when Kim Jong-il took over.
Yeah, it hasn't been, I want to say, more than 10 years that Kim Jong-un has been.
But Il never went. So maybe it was since the 90s that a leader from North Korea went into South Korea. Anyway.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
It's been many, many years, decades, since a leader from North Korea went into South Korea. And Kim
Serving as supreme leader since 2011.
2011. Okay, so it was under his father as well. His father never went to South Korea. But he walked up to the border. First of all, he was riding in a limousine surrounded by a bunch of bodyguards who, hilariously, the car is driving like just a little too fast for them to drive, but or to jog, but not quite enough for them to run. So they're doing this like awkward half jog thing to stay in pace with the car.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that pulls up to the building. He gets out. He walks.
I also like North Korean press apparently was talking about like how it's so secure not even a mouse could get through, and it's like really not the concern. A rogue mouse is not going to be what you're worried about. What you're worried about is like, machine gun fire or something like that, which won't really take care of all the people who are surrounding you, but it's okay.
Well, to be fair, he's bulletproof too, so it's not like
I mean
kill
he
him.
can fly and everything.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he doesn't poop. does not poop. That is a true thing.
That's why his hair looks like that. Just holding it in. Just
he's like a Play-Doh doll. Just out, cut it off.
That's funny enough. Also explains Trump's hair. I
Anyway,
don't poop.
so-
I've never pooped
He gets out.
except for that one time. What's it called? Don Jr.
He gets out of the car.
And I guess twice Eric.
He gets out of the car. He walks up to the border. He shakes hands with the president of South Korea across the border and then crosses over. They have talks all day for several days, but he does not eat in South Korea because he's afraid of being poisoned. So at lunch, he goes back across the border and eats in North Korea and then comes back for talks in the afternoon. But the end result of this is that the Korean War, as soon as the documents are signed, will be over. But it's been agreed that there will be an armistice and an end to the war in Korea for the first time since 1950. And that they are going to work to make the border more malleable so that people can go back and forth to see their families. The reality of this is South Koreans will be able to come to the north to see their families. North Koreans will still not be allowed to go to the south, because if they go to the south, they don't come back.
Right.
So, yeah. So that's how that's going to work. They're talking about stopping development on nuclear weapons, but obviously keeping the ones that they have. All of this, absent one important individual.
The leader of the free world?
The leader of the free world.
Well,
who is too
frankly,
busy.
he's going to meet with him in a couple weeks. So
Yeah, but I mean, what
he
is
doesn't need to. He doesn't need to bother himself with these important details up front.
going to be less things to talk about. It looks like President of South Korea is about to get all this stuff wrapped up in a big bow.
I would like to say this. I've seen a lot of people on Facebook and Twitter speaking about why isn't everybody jumping through hoops to thank Trump for ending the Korean War? Looks like things are getting better in Korea after all this fear and worry that the West Coast would be annihilated by nuclear strikes.
Mm-hmm. I'm still worried.
To which I would like to point out that part of the reason why North Korea is essentially giving up at this point is because they don't have enough food to feed people, nor do they have almost anything that they need to survive, because as the years have gone on and as we've gotten more strict with them, we've made us and other countries have decided to allow them to get the goods they need to be able to live a organized life, you know,
yeah.
So this has been many, many years in the making of. I'm trying to think of the word, like the trade embargoes. There we go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
of trade embargoes that have led us to this point.
That's actually completely untrue.
Really?
Yes, it has nothing to do with the embargoes. They would go out. He would starve all of his people until there was none left before the embargo. The important thing is he now has nuclear weapons. So he can go to them, to South Korea, to America as an equal, which is what people don't understand. And what I've been railing about for the last, 16 years or so, that when you have nuclear weapons and you say you don't get to come to the big adults table unless you have nuclear weapons, we tell the rest of the world, you go sit at the kids table and let the adults talk. And if somebody is on the outside of the kids table, what do they have to do to become part of the global conversation?
Nuclear weapons?
They have to get nuclear weapons. The Argentinians and the Brazilians both gave up their weapons in exchange for joining the big kids table. South Africans gave up their weapons in order to join the big kids table. They also ended apartheid, but to join the big kids table. Israel has become part of the big kids table because they have nuclear weapons. Sorry if you didn't know that. They do. And then the rest of the countries.
And blind support of most of the West.
Yes.
For better or for worse.
I have a couple comments about that. I'll save for later. But other than that, it's...
Oh, man, please, people who are looking for words to potentially make for Cinco de Mayo. Yes. Israel, Palestine, let's get this thing going.
Otherwise, who has nuclear weapons? England, France, the United States, Russia, India, Pakistan, China. Is there anybody else?
Not that I can
That's
think
the
of.
big seven. Yeah. I feel like it's G8, but I can't remember who the 8th is. Germany doesn't have them. So
you had Russia on there?
Russia's on there.
Yeah.
So those are the big 7 countries. So that's the big kids table. The big kids table is all people who have nuclear weapons. And then the people who are our best friends, like Germany, who we don't trust with nuclear weapons, but you can come sit at our
Yeah,
table.
yeah, yeah. You've proven your superpower enough for this.
Yes, yeah. So that's the thing. We get stuck in this position where if you're Kim Jong Il or Kim Jong Un and you get ousted by all of the other kids at the kids table, you're like, all right, well, if I want to have some power and some influence, I gotta get nuclear weapons because that gets me to the big kids table and I get to skip over everything else. So.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with embargoes. This has everything to do with him saying, I've proven that I have nuclear weapons. Now I'm going to go negotiate with the South, and I can't negotiate with anything else except for the fact that in 18 minutes, I can obliterate your capital and the 8 million people who live there. So you want to go negotiate? Now we can negotiate. Puts him on equal footing, and now that's where he is.
I really am fearful of the talks between Trump and...
Oh, the only thing he could do is fuck it up. That's really all that matters.
I'm worried. I'm worried that he's going to get hoisted by his own deal-making petard in this one.
Yeah,
It's really chief among my concerns is that he's going to be like, they're going to keep their nuclear weapons. It's not going to be a problem. He promised he won't use them.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, we know he's not a good
we don't use
negotiator.
ours, so
Why would he use?
why would he use theirs?
Honestly, that's the argument I've been making for the last 8 or 16 years. Is that hey, we've had them and we haven't used them. Russia's had them, hasn't used them. Nobody uses them.
Yeah.
India and Pakistan have literally had open warfare and they haven't used them against each other. The end result is you only get them to get power. Everything is about sex except for sex. Sex is about power.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, everything is about power, including nuclear weapons. But no, so in the end, I think that the best thing that could happen here is that North and South Korea sit down and sign agreements to everything they've talked about the past week before the President of the United States gets there.
Yeah.
Because the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to fuck it all up. And then North Korea is going to go back north and be like, nope, fuck it. We're not doing any of that stuff anymore. Screw you. We're going to stay on our own time zone.
Closing the palace walls.
Yes, exactly right. We're going to go back to being the hermit kingdom again.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that. So, congrats to you. I can't remember the name of the South Korean president. They just ousted theirs. What's that?
Moon?
That's pretty racist. I don't think it's Moon. If it is, I'm going to feel really racist that I called you out on here. Not racism. But I know that they just ousted their prime minister and or their president for corruption, which is, by the way, Bob Mueller. Ah.
Yeah.
Ah. Well, you know that's his last name, though.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. President Moon.
Am I not allowed to call him President Moon? Am I not allowed to say Moon?
Call him
If
Moon.
I said Trump, do you know who I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
but that's because he's Trump. You wouldn't. I guess you would say Obama.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
I said Moon.
What's the Prime Minister of Canada's name?
Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau.
Well.
Emmanuel Macron.
Macron.
All right. Anyway, so
You
let's
gotta
get
act
all
like
that on
you're
paper.
crushing cans in your mouth when you say his name. Macron.
So let's hope they get all that stuff signed.
That's not racist. He's white. It's cool.
Let's hope we get all that stuff signed so that Trump can't fuck it up. That's the overall message.
Yeah. So more happy fun time in international news.
Yeah. One other thing I'm not going to ask Corey to comment on because I know that he doesn't want to comment on it. But this week, Palestinians being starved in Gaza rushed the border fence that separates them from Israel, and the IDF snipers injured 961 people and killed over 100 of them because the Palestinians are not actual human beings in the eyes of the IDF and not to Israelis at all. They are animals that need to be caged into their prison that is the Gaza Strip. So these are the people that you support wholeheartedly in the West. You support people who create concentration camps in the city of Jenin and then starve the people and then bulldoze the entire town and spread those people to the four corners of the country in other concentration camps. People who got their country because of concentration camps who now put other people in concentration camps. They've created the world's largest apartheid state that still exists in Gaza Strip and in the West Bank. And when people literally are starving to death and they don't have clean water and they don't have electricity and they don't have any of the things they need to survive, and they finally reach the point where they have to escape or die and they try to escape, and you order your armed forces to shoot to kill them. Women, children, and young men, 961 injured, over 100 killed. That's what happened in the Gaza Strip just this week. So if you can boycott Israel, you absolutely should. I think Natalie Portman has taken a fantastic position that you should not do business with anyone in Israel. You should not do business with any Israeli businesses at all, or anyone who does business with Israel, because they are a terrorist state. And they are now trying to get the West to go to war with Iran by producing fake information about a nuclear weapons program in Iran.
I have one question about what you just said.
Sure.
You started it with you, and I was wondering who you were speaking to. Just the audience in general?
The audience in general.
Okay.
Do a little research, find out about what everything that the Zionist state of Israel stands for. Has nothing to do with you, religion, the Jewish religion, and I think these are two very separate things. The Zionist state of Israel is an apartheid state which wants to impose its will on what it believes to be a lesser, which if you've done any research about Nazism in Germany in 1930s and 40s, you're going to find that the Zionist policies of the state of Israel are exactly the same thing. Treating someone as another, cordoning them off into areas, smaller and smaller areas, and then treating them like animals and killing them without regard for their humanity, and starving them and not giving them water and basically leaving them to die. So not only are they doing that, which is terrible enough and reason enough to boycott them, but they're now producing what are blatantly false reports about a nuclear weapons program in Iran to try and get the West to invade Iran and destroy them, the traditional enemy of Israel. The only country that they have not gotten the United States to fight against. Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, all Libya, all countries that we have invaded that were supporter or that were anti-Israel since the 6-Day War in the 1940s. So just do a little research, find out about it. Don't buy any products. Boycott Israel totally, because something needs to be done. So there you go. You don't have to comment at all.
No,
that's it. Just my perspective.
Well said.
Boycott Israel.
Yeah, you know it better than I do, so I choose not to speak on things I don't know well.
Yeah, unless you want to give us a hot take. Do you want to give us a hot take?
No, clearly not.
Okay,
clearly not. Okay. You've said more in that one little bit than I know about the entire Israeli-Palestinian conflict. So therefore, I feel like I should shut the fuck up.
Free Palestine, 2-state solution. Go.
If you want to join California in its 3-state solution. Sorry. I did it again. We did it last week, and we both agreed that wasn't a good joke. But
Nope. That's okay.
It's all right. Anyway. OTheAnthem.com. Corey to OTheAnthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And you can find more of me at CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com and my Facebook page, Corey Baker Film, and on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at LegendsCB5. There are many reviews coming up this week. They're all in the queue. Be sure to check out the last review I posted. 2 reviews ago. Because it had the featurette with the Regal LA Live, which is blowing up on the Facebooks at the moment. Mm-hmm. So if you want to check that out, it's on the Facebook.com/Corey Baker Film page. And it would mean the world to me if you shared it. So thank you very much for all the people who have.
And, of course, you can find me on all your social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, foundingthefuture.us, the news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy our own books.
Oh, thank you. And if you have any comments about that last segment, please don't blow Corey up. That's Corey at otheanthem.com. You can hit me up at rob@robertncheek.com and send those directly to me, and I'd be happy to open a dialogue with you. rob@robertncheek.com. But yeah, check that out for more. And hey, if you maybe think that I'm speaking the truth and you'd like to support all the things that I'm doing, the scripts and the videos and all that stuff, you can do that at patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. That's patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek. I did start out the month writing poetry and trying to write a different poem every single day. That fell a little short, but I'm going to make up for it by finishing the month strong and trying to get 30 poems out in the next, 15 or so in the next few days. That'll catch me up, so I'll have one per day. So you can check that out at patreon.com/Robert N. Cheek.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
I think we've done absolutely a lot of good, especially that last bit. That was fantastic. I think we've done something. I don't know if it's good or not. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Donald Trump is the president. We're going to watch that while we back up. Peace, y'all.